What's going on, guys? So, hope you guys had a fantastic weekend, and I know that I did. And I wanted to hop on here because I had a really interesting question. I was at a powerlifting meet on Saturday, and one of the coaches is actually a follower of this channel and started asking me some questions about lifting as an older lifter, older, you know, whatever, older lifter, and some of the equipment that I use currently. And I thought that was a really interesting question because we really don't talk about what equipment is best suited for people starting out, but then also a case of really what works out for a comfort level as well. So wanted to hop on here and talk about what I personally use as well as what I recommend. And by no means am I recommending any particular brand or equipment, but these are some things that I do right off the bat. So number one piece of equipment that I would recommend that you really get tied up on and really kind of get yourself situated up with is footwear. Your shoes, massive difference, massive importance up on this. Now I wear 3 4 different kind of training shoes. The Nike Metcons are typically the ones that I wear the most because they're a flat surface. There's no rise with it, and I wear a pair of Brooks as far as my everyday walkers because they're comfortable as all get out, and I'm flat-footed, so that does make a difference. But these in the gym environment, not exactly the best situation, particularly if you're lifting heavier, and heavier is kind of a relative term, but because the cushion with it, when you start squatting, deadlifting, lunging, whatever you're doing, it presses down and compresses, and it creates an unstable surface a little bit of time. So by doing that, or by eliminating that, you create a flat surface and allows you to get a very nice even feel for the actual lift. Like I said, I usually wear Nike Metcons because first and foremost, they're flat, they're zero drop, so there's no basically tilt from the heel. The second thing with it is that they're solid. I mean, they're really stiff, so it gives a good stable platform, particularly when I'm squatting, when I'm deadlifting, things that sort. And so that's what I would recommend, something with the zero drop. Vibrams I think are great. There's a couple other brands out there. Pick which one whatever fits your lifestyle, makes a big difference. For a long time, I used wrestling shoes because again, nothing there, and it's just a straight all the way through. Plus, it gives a little bit of ankle support. Funny story: when I was in high school, I wore exclusively wrestling shoes. My freshman and my sophomore year in high school, I had 2 pairs of wrestling shoes, one for on the mat, and then the other one for basically off the mat. And my girlfriend at the time hated me wearing these. So I don't know if maybe that's why I wore them all the time, but I enjoyed them. I mean, I was comfortable with them. I've been wrestling since I was, you know, I don't know how long by that point, but they were just a great avenue for me up on that one. So that's first thing, shoes number one. Number two is compression gear, and this is relatively new for me. I have a pair of knee sleeves and a pair of elbow sleeves. The knee sleeves is because I just had surgery a little over a year and a half ago, and a year ago last October, and it really has made a big difference, particularly when it's colder outside. It gives some support to my knees. It also keeps it warm. Same thing with my elbows. I'm starting to notice that my elbows are starting to creak up a little bit. So putting these on, it just makes a big difference and allows you to have, again, a little bit of support on it, to where it gives some good tension on that. And again, it just helps out giving support. And I've noticed that I don't have nearly as much aches and pains with my elbows when I'm doing heavy skull crushers or cable extensions or things of that sort. Benches also makes a big difference when it comes into those things too. So compression equipment. This is from Anderson Powerlifting. You can get them on Amazon. You can get any kind of variation you want. Obviously, if you powerlift, you want to make sure that they're compliant with your powerlifting association or federation. If you're in high school, obviously that makes a big difference. But Anderson, if you're in the Dallas area, swing by the store up in there in Carrollton, and they're great guys. They'll help fit you up and everything from there. So that's number two as far as what I'd go up on that one. Number three is lifting straps. And I've had these since, oh gosh, I guess 2013. And they're absolutely fantastic because what they do is They allow you to basically lift and take the grip out of the formulation with this. So, for me, pull-ups, deadlifts, when I'm going for high volume deadlifts, the grip is the limiting factor. It really is. Now, if you're positioning up for something like jiu-jitsu, then obviously grip is a factor that you do want to work with, that you do need to improve with, but it can be a limiting factor, particularly in the very beginning. So, keeping this in check makes a big difference, and I do recommend them. They're not 100% necessary, but it can make your lifting experience that much better. And then number 4, this one can be a little controversial, is foam rollers or lacrosse balls. I don't have my lacrosse ball. It's actually at the house because I was using it over the weekend. But foam rollers, I think, are fantastic. They help to really spread out a lot of that tension that goes out with it. Lacrosse balls they are absolutely a godsend and a spawn from Satan himself, because the foam roller will get a wide area, quads, back, chest, lats, things that sort, which will help out tremendously. But if you got those little areas, piriformis, psoas, upper back, lats, that lacrosse ball can get into those little areas to where it just needs in, and oh my gosh, it's excruciating at times, but it feels phenomenal afterwards. All right. So those are my top 4 that I do recommend for lifting. The honorable mentions, and these are kind of not necessary, but they're a nice add-on if you want it, is wrist straps. Obviously I wear a pair of wrist straps. Again, Anderson Powerlifting, props up to those guys. But I think it has its place. For me, I wear them simply because when I'm pressing 250 over my chest, having something to give me a little bit more stability in the wrist does make a difference, and it gives me a little bit of psychological, comfort when it comes into that my wrist isn't going to pop out or crumble in. And so it does give me a little bit of support when it comes into those particular lifts. But I don't think that they're absolutely 100% necessary. And then the other one is the weightlifting belt. This one can be a little controversial because for those of us that are over the age of 40, we remember, in the late 80s, early 90s, people walking into the gym and put the bag down, and first thing goes on is the weightlifting belt. Boom, and walk around and just do everything with the weightlifting belt on. I think most people put too much stock into their weightlifting belts and not enough stock into developing up the musculature that's designed to brace and support the spine, and that's the transverse abdominals, the obliques, the rectus abdominis, all those abdominal core muscles. Really, in all honesty, until you actually learn how to brace properly, I don't think a weightlifting belt is really that necessary. Don't go so heavy. But once you learn how to brace properly, then when you go for deadlifts, squats, RDLs, good mornings, any of those movements to where they do put your spine in a good loading position, that keeping that in is a fantastic, can be a really good opportunity for you to basically from a safety standpoint. So anyways, guys, that's my 4 and 2 right there. I hope you guys have a great President's Day, and I got to get back to lifting. So we'll peace out, guys. Let me click this off.